Welcome back to the Linux Academy Nginx Deep Dive. In this video, we're going to take a look at our last type of proxying that we're going to be doing, and that's going to be using the uWSGI binary protocol. And we're going to be using a sample application that I wrote a couple days ago for just communicating with uWSGI. It's going to be a Django 2 application that's going to use Python 3.6, but we're going to use MariaDB because we already had it installed. So this video is going to take us through setting up this application. And a lot of it's already automated, but if you want to poke around and see how this is kind of done, most of it's in a makefile or a couple other scripts. But the first thing that we're going to need is actually going to be this URL. And then we can come over and we're going to put this into srv www. And then we'll do git clone and then content uWSGI. So we're going to need Python 3 installed. So I currently don't have Python 3 installed. So we're going to install this using yum install Python 3.6 and Python 3.6 devel. We're expecting there to be a pip installed, but we don't have a pip3 installed yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that using the bootstrapping script that they provide to us. So we'll use wget https://bootstrap.pypa.io/get-pip.py. And then we'll do Python 3.6 to get pip. And this will go and install pip, which is one of the Python package managers that we can use. It's really just a tool installer, but yeah, we can get that in there, and then we can also remove this get pip from within our directory. But we need a couple of things installed before we can actually run through and do a lot of the automated stuff that we're going to be using with this Django 2 application. So we'll do pip 3.6 install pipenv, which is another tool for managing projects, and requests. With these dependencies installed, we're ready to actually cd into the application. And we do need to create a user in our database. So we're going to do mysql-u root, and then it's going to ask for our root password again. And we're going to do basically the same thing we did before, except for now we just need to set something up specific for our notes application. So we're going to use create database, and this is going to be called Django Notes, and then grant all privileges on Django Notes .star to notes at localhost identified by, and then we're going to actually use the same password. This isn't how you would do it really in real life, but I like having simple passwords for examples. And then we will once again flush the privileges. And now we can quit out. So we need to remember that Django Notes is the name of the database, Notes is the name of our user, and our password is password with an @ and a 0. So if we take a look at the makefile, we can actually look at what is going on here, but we can see what we have. We need to migrate a database. This install one is going to actually go and install all of our dependencies, so we're going to want to do that one first. We're going to migrate the database. We're going to want to generate static assets for ourselves, and then we're going to use make service, which will go and automate all of the setup of the service file that we're going to need in order to run this on the start of the system booting. So let's get started by using make install. Actually running make migrate is going to require us to set up some environment variables. So if we take a look at the README for this, it's going to tell you that these are the various make things that we can use. But for make migrate, which apparently I used to call db init, we're going to need notesdb, notesdb user, and notesdb password. And the host and port are going to be localhost and 3306 because those are the defaults. So it's completely fine for us to be able to work with those right now. So we need to go and set notesdb, notesdb user, and notesdb password before we actually do anything else. So we'll use export notesdb. Oh, it's not showing my underscores because I'm too low. Export notesdb. This is going to be Django Notes. Export notes db user. Going to be notes. and export notes db password is going to be p@ssw0ord. And now we can do make migrate. Now we want to run make static. And what this did was it actually went and created a directory at notes.example.com. This is the default. If you wanted to set a different host for this, then you could modify that, but it's going to put it in var www.notesexample.com/static, and this is where it's going to request static content to be served. The actual Python application won't even try to serve static assets. The very last thing we need to run is going to be make service, and this is going to ask us for our host, which is going to be notes.example.com. Database name, Django Notes. Database user of notes and password. And then if we go and we actually take a look at what's going on inside of etc systemd system, there's now a notes uWSGI service that has everything kind of set up that it needs to, and all of the particular commands that it's going to have to run in order to do this. So the last thing we're going to do is going to be systemctl start notes.uWSGI, and then systemctl enable notes.uWSGI. In the next video, we're going to go through and set up a virtual host for this for notes.example.com that will actually proxy over uWSGI to our application.